Yes.
Okay. So for those of you who are joining us on YouTube, just know that you could always see us live and be a part of the audience at facebook.com/Lillian's radio show. Many of you have asked me, how are you doing? It's been 8 weeks since my explantation surgery, and many of you want to know how I'm doing. Well, it's not just about me. It's about other people who have experienced this before me. And so I asked Cassie Carter to come on down. She was my last guest before my explantation. And now I'm giving you an 8-week update. And how long has it been, Cassie? 18 months?
I said May 4th of last year. The way I remember that, I always say, may the 4th be with me. So that's how I remember my date. So
May 4th. I'm August 23rd.
Okay.
It's like a born again date,
It's like a birthday. It's literally a rebirth day, because we literally, I think, find ourselves in a new way, in a new light. And we start, self-confidence is another thing we gain.
Okay. Hold on, because we got to start the podcast. So there's a lot of different components going on, and save that for the podcast as well. So all of you, fasten your seatbelts, because we're going to learn and grow together. It's time to dance.
The Lillian McDermott Show.
We love, we fear, bridges we burn, we make mistakes, then we live and learn. When life gets tough, and it seems like your best ain't good enough. If you're in need of hope, you know where I'll be right here. Right here, and when you need a friend, you can count on me. I'll be right here, waiting for
you. This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening and my viewing friends at facebook.com/Lillian's radio show. I'm so glad we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful best day ever. And for those of you who have been tuning in to the classroom since 2011, or maybe you tuned in yesterday for the first time, I'm so grateful that you are back. But if this is the first time that you have tuned in to the Lillian McDermott radio show /classroom, please know I've been waiting for you. This is a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening, as well as my viewing friends, will feel empowered to embrace a new truth and live the life of your dreams. Now, as you know, I've been very, very honest about my journey. Even before I announced we thought that we had an issue with my breast implants. Even before then, I had shared with you that for the last couple years, I've been experiencing some major, some issues compared to how I eat or how I live my lifestyle or whatever is going on. Just didn't add up. Something, it's like Sesame Street. Do you remember that song? One of these things just doesn't belong here. That's how I felt with my journey. It's like all of a sudden something was off. Well, along the way, we go through our journey and find out about breast implant illness, possible breast implant rupture from an accident. There's so many things going on. And I was covered with earth angels. Earth angels all around. It's almost as if God goes, calling all earth angels, calling all earth angels. And in comes Cassie Carter. Cassie responded to a show I did, a classroom that I did. And she was very sweet and very articulate, very wise. And so I said, you know what? Let's talk. First we talked, and then I said, this information needs to get out there. Mm-hmm. And she was the last person on my show before my born again date of August 23rd. So on August 22nd, she was on. You can check out her class. back then, and oh my God, it seems like eons, ages ago. And
Yeah.
so she has experienced some things after her breast implant explantation, and I have as well. And as I've said before, one size does not fit all.
Mhm.
And we have to be very careful to compare ourselves to other people who go through maybe a similar walk. They might experience it differently, but what I was told is one and done. You get your implants out and boom, you are healed. The heal is real and all of that, right? Well, I kept calling Cassie. Cassie, I'm not going through that. I'm not having this miraculous recovery. I'm having a little bit of a, I don't know, what do you call it? A health crisis all over again.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, Cassie, it's time to come on back. And since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, I am grateful that my friend, Cassie Carter, is here to do just that. Welcome back, Cassie.
I'm so happy to be back, Lillian.
Or should I say, welcome back, Carter?
Cassie Carter is the last name.
No, but remember, Welcome Back, Carter was a sitcom.
I know.
Oh, you're too young. You're too young.
I'm not that young. I'm not that young. It's just that, you know what? When I looked younger after I took the implants out. That's all that happened. So, but yeah, I'm so happy to be back here with you because, I mean, you with your journey and just sharing it and going along it with you and seeing the transformations happen. It's always the joy for me to see for anybody I help along the way. You know, and I still want to continue to be there for people, not just for that moment, but after the surgery as well.
Yes. Yes. And I want to remind everybody that if you have any questions for me or Cassie, type in a Q, write your question, and we will address it during the broadcast and during the class. So here's the deal. One size does not fit all. And I thought my hair would stop falling out, that I would be able to sleep all night, that all these different symptoms, dry mouth. And although my eyes are not as dry as they used to be, I mean, I had to peel my contact, out if I wanted to be able to use my contacts. But doctors wanted to give me these drops and, to lubricate my eyes. And I'm like, something is off. I can't be, my body is speaking to me. So I will say that I have felt better, but then there's the scars to deal with and the pain to deal with and all this. So I want to set a realistic expectation about what happens after breast implant illness. Now, did you have a miraculous recovery?
Not at all. It was, I'm still dealing with it. I would say I'm around the 85% mark. Considering that they aggressively removed my thyroid with lymph nodes 6 weeks after they did a heart surgery, all misdiagnoses. So it set me back quite a bit. And so where I've had to do a lot of other things as far as reactivated EBV and all sorts of other things.
Reactivated EBV, what's that?
It's the Epstein-Barr virus. And
okay.
It's the kissing virus, mono is what it's known for, among, people talking, but it's the kissing virus, but EBV is very commonly reactivated among women with implants or bacterial infections that are chronic and heavy metals that aren't detoxing. And so a lot of women don't realize after these come out, you still have silicone attached inside your cellular level that you have to detox out. So you can't go back to eating bad and you can't go back to eating and doing what you thought you could. Your whole life has really changed and transformed. That's why it's a rebirth, because you have to change and transform your life and your lifestyle. And that includes stress levels, food, environment, energy levels. They're going to come up and down as you go on. Mm-hmm. And you're going to find yourself some days where you just don't want to get out of bed. You're going to have other days where I feel great. I feel like I could take on the world. And then the next day you're going to feel like I don't want to get out of bed. And so these are very, very common symptoms that keep happening, to a lot of women. It doesn't matter how long you've had the implants. It doesn't matter if they are 5 months old or 20 or 30 years old. It really matters upon the person and upon their environment and what they eat, and that all plays a big part in genetics.
Okay.
And so these things are all big parts on your healing. And as I was told by Dr. Fang whenever I came out of surgery, she said that I would probably be around the 2-year mark whenever I would feel more of myself. So she kept it very realistic with me. She didn't give me false expectations of hope that I would be overnight miraculously healed. And I, listened to everything she did. I did everything she said. I've lost 60 pounds since I explanted. And
wow.
Yeah.
Why don't I remember that number?
I think I was around the 50-pound mark, but now I'm about 60 pounds down. And so probably because I was in Paris last week and I walked 20 miles each day.
No.
I would think that's probably where the other ones went. So that was my first trip that I've been able to take out of the country, where I used to travel all the time as a person who goes, and I am a humanitarian and I go and help around the world. So that was one of the trips that I've been able to take for the first time since I have been, finding out that the implants were the issue, and then also explanting. So this is, a scenario a lot of women I get daily. I get emails, DMs, messages every single day from women saying, I'm still having this symptom. I'm still having this. This has come and this is gone and this has come back. Mm-hmm. So you're going to have these things come and go, but then there'll be a time when they just wash out eventually out of your system, because you have to detox them out eventually. And that takes time.
Yes.
And it takes a lot of focus on diet and environment, and just really focusing on keeping your stress levels low. You really have to, toxic, if it's people or if it's your environment or whatever it is, it has to go out of your life if you want to recover fully from this. And that's very important to focus on and always stay focused on for yourself.
Yeah. Well, some of the things that were different for me, as you know, I've shared with you that I had a car accident a couple of years ago, and the way I managed my pain was with pulse electromagnetic frequency and microcurrent. Well, what happened to me was after the explantation, I was not able to use either, because you don't want the body to heal faster than what it is naturally doing. And
Right.
so I was told for 6 to 8 weeks that I could not get, on my machines and use my machines for pain management. And let me tell you, that kind of that was difficult, because when you have 4 herniated discs and a spinal compression and all these different things that came from the accident, and you rely on that. I'm totally different than most people, where most people would have had surgery. I'm like, no, not unless I have to.
I had the same thing. I had a car accident too, just before I moved here from Denver, right before I was 5 weeks out from my explant, and I was rear-ended, hit 3 times. I was rear-ended from, I was 5 weeks exactly out. And so I was rear-ended.
I can't imagine with a seatbelt and how much that must have hurt.
Yes, with hundreds of stitches inside my chest wall. It was, I was taken in an ambulance, and, I have a service dog, and it was just unbelievable, but I agree, as far as not being able to use those things. Some people rely on things like that. Other people rely on pain medicine and or so forth, CBD, essential things that are, whatever helps them.
Yeah.
I come to a place where I use low dose naltrexone. You can get it in a pill form, or it comes in a compounded form, but it's really great for pain management, for fibromyalgia and other things. And it's comes in a cream form as well. You can do one click and it gives you the exact amount, and you can rub it anywhere on your body, mainly in the pain area. And it has helped me. I can't even begin beyond words, along with the CBD. It's amazing.
Very good. Very good. So as we're going into this awareness that, okay, now this is a new pain, this is a new discomfort, you're getting used to your body all over again, and seeing, the end results of the surgery. Although you don't have the implants, now you're looking at scars, and these scars can be very painful. And so one of the things, Cassie, I want to, if you could share some of the things you did to kind of eliminate the scarring to minimize it?
I'll tell you exactly what I did, and it worked miraculously. My scars are pretty much, you don't even see them. The scars from my other surgery, from putting them in, is bigger than the scar that was to take them out. And so I actually, Dr. Fang used something called the K laser. And it reduces inflammation inside the body and produces healing from the inside out. And it produces healing on the outside of the wound as well. And so I used that. And then after my wounds were healed completely, you can go to your local Walgreens or CVS or pharmacy, and they have silicone scar pads. I put those on 6 to 8 weeks. And then after I did 6 to 8 weeks of that, I went, and this is miraculous. It is Scar Gel Plus. It is a miraculous cream. I don't like the name of it, Intense Silicone Scar Gel, because it has that silicone word in it. But when I tell you, I even use this on my face for face cream, it is the most wonderful thing, and it heals so fast. The scar, unbelievably fast. I mean, I bought 2 of them at the same time because, I mean, it lasts a long time, the jar does, but it is phenomenal for scar healing and promoting scar healing. And it's not, nothing that has to stick on there or anything. It's just you rub it on there. You can rub it on once or twice a day, and it lasts a long time because you only need a tiny bit. And I was actually recommended by my pharmacist this, and I was like, yeah, we'll see. I couldn't believe it. I was like really, really shocked when I started to use it, how quickly it just made the scars look like they were gone.
So a silicone Scar Gel Plus, and where did you get it?
Scar Gel Plus, and I got it from the Pillbox Pharmacy in Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And so you can order it, and they mail to you as well, I know there. So
okay. Was it expensive? What was the cost?
The cost is $59. But it's worth it. Like I said, it lasts a very long time because you only need a tiny little bit out of it. And so I would say there's enough in here for a woman who explants, probably anywhere from 4 to 5, 6 months, roughly.
Very good.
Yeah, it lasts a long time. And so there's enough in there. You don't need a lot because it's a, I'll open it and show you just very carefully, really quick. So you just take off even off the lid, and you just can take that right there and just rub it on, and it goes on your whole entire, I've already covered my whole entire arm with that entire.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's a wonderful, and it feels wonderful too. And it just heals up. Even my mom just had a scar over her eye. I've been putting it on. She had her sunglasses hit her face a little bit. And so I've been rubbing it on her eye, and it's already completely gone.
Wow.
Like 5 days.
Okay. I think I need that information from you later on as well. Yeah. So, okay. Another thing that I found is that, like, even yesterday, I went, yesterday was my husband's birthday, and I surprised him with a massage, and I thought, oh, I'm going to get a massage too. It was the first time that I was laying on my stomach since the surgery. I was in pain. I didn't realize
they hurt,
that it would hurt. So they got me a breast pillow, which when I had implants, I didn't need a breast pillow. Now that I don't have any things, I needed that, but it was more comfortable for me to do it that way.
I did those as well.
So where are you? How long did it take you to kind of be able to lay on your stomach?
I really don't lay on my stomach, but I do massages. And I would say that I honestly, realistically, I was around the 5 to 6 month mark before I felt comfortable to lay on my stomach with my explant. And I would say that's a realistic number. 5 to 6 months is where I felt comfortable. I think everybody's going to probably feel a little different depending on their size, and also depending on, how much work and how much reconstruction and things that needed to be done. I am still, May 4th, I'm still, tender in that area. When you touch it, even if it's touched a little hard or something, I'm still a little tender in the areas of my surgery. So, and that's over a year out, but they always say around 2 years roughly is when you're going to have complete healing from a surgery. So that's where I would say.
Yeah. And, of course you did the K laser. I'm going to do the microcurrent, my Avasia, because I own my own machine. And that if anybody's interested in Avasia and the microcurrent, it dissolves the scarring from the inside, and as opposed to from, I don't know how the K laser works, but with microcurrent, it just dissolves the scarring, because what happens is, and this is a concept, and you may want to add to this, Cassie, if you want, but what happens is in the United States, in the Western philosophy, we look at blood. In the Eastern philosophy, they look at water. Yes. And so we're more than 75-80% water in our body, and we flow. The water flows with the blood. Even in the blood, there's water. And so it flows in our body. So when there's a scar, that flow stops. Right. Even though you may not see the scar on the outside, there is a scar underneath that's stopping the flow, and that can cause lymphedema. It could cause pain in your back.
Everything.
Yes. So one of the protocols for Avasia, the product that I have, and again, if you want to reach out to me, I can tell you more about that. That product right there, what it does is that it starts the process to breaking down. And one of the protocol is, before you do any work on the body, you ask if there's any scars, because you might have a scar up here, but then you have back pain, or you might have a scar in your like implants, and then all of a sudden your knee starts hurting. It all depends where that flow and what it's stopping. And so it's amazing how pain works, and how there's different things that you can do to stop the pain or alleviate the pain.
It migrates into joints and different things, and it's very common to migrate when you're having, because the body is actually going into a place where it's trying to work and heal something. And so it's not giving the proper things that it needs to the other areas that it normally would do, since it's having to fight another battle that it wasn't anticipating. Yes. And so the body is much like a computer, and it has to be cleaned out, and it has to be, rebooted and things like that. We're very similar to computers the way we're wired. And we really need to take a look at computers as we, like every computer is different. Every computer has been, the hardware and software is different. So the
information in it is different.
We can't just look at people as numbers, and we can't look at their numbers. We have to look at their well-being and what they're feeling like, instead of looking at numbers all the time, because numbers they can be off, and somebody's range that is normal could be normal for them and not normal for somebody else.
Correct. One size does not fit all. Anybody tells you that it does, walk away. Just look at it as a tool. Everything is a tool in your bag. So you wouldn't show up at a job to fix a toilet with a hammer, unless you want to destroy the toilet. So you might need a plunger, and you might need, a brush, you might need whatever it is, a screwdriver. But if you only show up everywhere with a hammer, then everything will need to be hit by a hammer. So that's to me the Western philosophy is everybody gets hit with a hammer. Okay, so we have a question with Joanna. Thank you so much for joining us. And Maria, I see you're here, and Barbara and Ginny. I'm so excited. And who else is joining us? Okay, so Joanna has a question. She said, when can you start to use the silicone scar gel?
You can start to use, as soon as your wound is completely closed up, you can start to use any kind of gel and any kind of silicone scar pads the moment that you see that it's just closed up and not open anymore, because you don't want to put something over it that's going to start ripping it back open. And so the silicone scar gel, as soon as it's closed up, you can just start rubbing it right over top of it.
Yeah, and it's over 6 weeks. They're saying that that's the minimum 6 weeks, and there might be more depending on the healing of the individual.
Depending how long it takes for everybody heals individually. And so somebody might close up and heal within 2 weeks from a scar, and they may be completely closed up, and they, it just depends on the person. And I say, go by the person. If you heal up and you're closed within 2 weeks, then do the 2 weeks. Whenever you're healed up, it goes by the individual, not by the number of whatever a doctor. Now, when you're going to, working out and stuff, then you're going into the 6 weeks. But other than that, we're not, talking 6 weeks. We're talking an individual basis on scar repair.
Yes, yes. Okay, so another thing that I had to do after my surgery, which by the way, you knew more about my surgery than I knew about my surgery because of being aware of some of the work that they did. It was a 3-hour surgery. It was very invasive, and so I had big plans to take 2 weeks off and work on my book and do some things around the house. Man, I was a slug.
Yeah.
I all for 2 weeks, and it was like, man, I've got to go back now.
It's a hard surgery. It's not easy, and we don't want to sugarcoat it that it's an easy surgery. It's a tough one, and the drains are, annoying, and it's really not fun. And we always want those drains out, and we try to get them out as quickly as possible, but you don't want to take them out too early because it could cause problems.
Oh yeah.
You want to make sure that you keep them in as long as your body is telling you need them in, and your body will tell you by stop putting fluid in the drains.
Correct.
And that's the time to take them out.
Correct. Okay, so then the next thing I did, because I just wasn't feeling well, I was tired, I was having a hard time focusing, and so I called Dr. Grable because he's my doctor, and also a sponsor, by the way. And I said, something's off. Could it be my thyroid? Because I've had a thyroid condition since, such a long time. Could it be this? Could it be that? So we had some blood work done, and I sent it to you, Cassie. And it turned out that I was high in zinc. My thyroid, we still haven't talked about my thyroid with Dr. Grable. I was very low in testosterone, low in iodine. And so those are kind of things that I want everybody to understand, that just because you have your implants out, that may not be the only reason you're feeling a certain way. What would you like to add to that, Cassie?
Just reviewing your labs and taking a look. I'm not a doctor, just making that clear here. I'm not a doctor, but just from reviewing the labs, from what I've seen from, it was a basic testing for you. The labs always turn out, mostly for women with implants, looking okay. And the fact is, where there's certain labs that we need to test to get proper cellular functioning. We don't want just the basic labs. We want the ones that get to the cellular level. And so when I look at that, I said your zinc is a heavy metal. That's high. So that shows that you're too high in zinc and that you need to get that detox out. Mm-hmm. And your vitamin D, you need a D3, and it did a hydroxy. Mm-hmm. That's not the one that we want. We want the vitamin D3, but I actually saw they didn't run all the testing for your thyroid labs. And, but according to what I saw just from the basic, the free T4 is their favorite one with the TSH. They didn't even do a TSH on you, but your thyroid is falling, your free T4 is falling in the range, but a reverse T3, a free T3, and a TSH, those are the ones that I would add with thyroid globulin to make sure that your thyroid is functioning at its optimal level. Mm-hmm. And I learned a lot of information by world-renowned thyroid specialists, doing hundreds of hours of calls and stuff. So I'm very well versed on the thyroid and the labs and how they should read. Mm-hmm. What's telling me that your iodine, and this is very common for people with thyroid disease and or thyroid issues, by the way, who are having problems, is your iodine will go off, your vitamin D and your vitamin D3 and vitamin B12 methyl need to be checked. Those will be off if you have the MTHFR mutation normally.
I do.
Okay, so then that's what it's telling me is you have the MTHFR mutation when I see that. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I saw when I read that. I said she has the MTHFR because those are the ones that get thrown off. Mm-hmm. For low testosterone, you have low testosterone, which is not uncommon, where our age is coming in. You can get a compounded cream. I had low testosterone a few years ago. And I would put it on because you don't want to grow like a caveman. I did one arm and I didn't know, and it was getting very hairy. And so I started looking very hairy on one arm and not on the other. And so I started rubbing it in areas like just right behind my legs. And it's very good, like, to do compounding stuff for, any kind of like hormonal things. I personally like the creams that are compounded better.
Mhm.
But other than that, you know, your other stuff looked phenomenal. And I think that yours is more time issued and detoxing issued.
Correct. I'm thinking that too. We just had we did a class with Dr. Joe Pizzorno, who wrote the toxin solution, and we talked about mercury, arsenic. We had some talk about lead, and we also, I'm trying to remember what's the fourth one.
Aluminum.
No, we didn't talk about aluminum actually. No, we talked about lead, arsenic. You guys did. If anyone watched that, you'll get a gift if you answer the three. And but it was anyway. It doesn't matter. It's with Joe Pizzorno. Check it out. We talked about the different things that we can do to detox, and so it made me very aware that even though we just need to know what is going on in our body. And there, we mentioned there's some testing that we can do, some blood work that can be done to identify whether you have lead or arsenic or mercury and that third one I can't remember. But anyway, those are some of the things that we can do to find out, because it's not a get the breasts out, implants out, and then all of a sudden you are just doing cartwheels. If it is you, if that's you, great, good for you. But if it's not you, try not to compare yourself to somebody else, because that somebody else is not your thumbprint, does not have your DNA, does not have all the different things that we do to ourselves to assault our body. And
we have our own stories, each individually.
That's right.
And we have to make sure that we are all aware of that our stories are not going to line up for every single person that is, doing this, we're not going to have the same outcome. We're not going to have the same scenario. Like my scenario is I'm missing a thyroid without lymph nodes now. And I'm going through things that other people wouldn't have gone through, but I was mistakenly misdiagnosed and aggressively treated. And so I have now.
And you didn't even have cancer.
No, I didn't even have cancer now. And secondly, the Mayo Clinic now calls it a lesion to be watched. And secondly, they never did an iodine uptake to see if I had Graves' disease. And I tested in blood for Graves' disease, but they never did an iodine uptake. And so they went and removed my whole thyroid and then 18 lymph nodes with it. And they were not cancerous. And so it made no sense why they aggressively did that. But he was a teacher who taught students in the room while he was doing the surgery on me, which made all the sense why he aggressively did it to teach them. And now I have to pay the price in my body. But, I am somebody who is very diligent. I'm somebody who's very focused on getting well. And I'm also relentless. I don't stop until I find out exactly what it is that I need to make my body and my life back to normal or where it was. So I'm almost there. I'm 85%. It's much better than planning my funeral last year before the explant. And so I'm really grateful for that. And a second thing I wanted to mention that you mentioned, hair testing is the best heavy metal testing. And there is a place on Stop the Thyroid Madness. I know they partner with some lab companies to get people lower prices. But if you go on Stop the Thyroid Madness website, you can click on their labs, and then you can go in, and what you do is it's a metals and mineral testing, and you're going to go in and take different pieces in your hair, and they give you a little paper scale. You tip until it tilts, and you have to have enough hair in there.
I did that when I was trying to figure out what was going on with me. I did that. So I need to send you those things.
Yeah, because it comes with the results and how to read them after. And if you color your hair, you can go down below and you have hair below too. But you can also still go in here and it'll tell you which ones are in your hair color. Like this can affect your hair. Your hair color can affect this metal. It'll tell you which ones that you are very high. For me personally, I was super high. I was 100% aluminum and platinum. Those were those are common for.
Do you get the flu shot?
I do not, but I got immunizations for all of my trips for when I'm my humanitarian trip. And so it explains all the aluminum, but also the aluminum in the implants with the platinum. So those were very high in me, and they were very shocked to see that my tin was extremely high for a human. And so they were shocked to see that. And so there's a discounted rate I know on their site for people who are looking to do heavy metal testing, not blood testing, but heavy metal testing through the hair is the best way to do it, because your hair actually contains so many things. This is your, you use keratin and everything. It's all in your hair. It's your DNA. They can take one piece of hair and get your DNA. So we know for a fact how important the hair is.
Yeah. So that's interesting. That's a good tip. Cassie. So after the explant, if you're not 100%, the heel is real type of thing where you're like, this was my only thing that I had wrong with me, then that's wonderful. You're done. But we need to also understand, and one of the things that Cassie, you wanted me to do was a detox. You wanted me to do a juicing, a cleanse. And so I did that. I did it 3 days before, 3 days after. The before portion, I added it to my already healthy nutrition. Yeah. And then the after, I did it, with that.
It gives the gut a little vacation from like having the liver and everything. It just gives it a vacation from having to break down solid foods. And it's really great for that. And I mean, I recommended it for everybody who does, explanting. I recommend it simply because it really does help while your body wants to heal, it's giving it the nutrition that it needs. It's all, flash frozen juices and made from, it's flash frozen. So it's all got the nutrients included in it, and it gives the gut a vacation, and the gut needs a vacation from a lot of the things. And then while it gives it a faster chance to start healing this area here, instead of having to break down a bunch of foods that it's trying to normally do.
Yeah. And I want to alert everybody, anyone that is buying juices from the shelf in the store, there's very, very little nutrients in that, because once you juice something, it has a life cycle. So unless they're freezing it like they do with this one, I don't want to give their name at this time, but if anybody privately wants me to, I don't want to promote them. If you want to, I will tell you what it privately, but it is something that you want, something that is frozen. Yeah. Frozen right after it's, juiced, and then sent to you frozen, and you thaw it out and consume it the next day. So that is the most important aspect when it comes to maybe doing a juice, a cleanse, or a detox. And also the diet is so important. We follow Dr. Joel Fuhrman's Nutritarian lifestyle. That's what I follow, and that's what I promote, although everybody has a right to their own way of eating, but I love the science behind a nutritarian lifestyle. So I want to encourage everybody, like Cassie said, it's time to heal the gut. It might be the toxins are in your gut. There might be an offset. There might be that you were feeling so bad that the nutrients, you're nutrient depleted. And now that your body doesn't have to fight all the toxins from your implants, now it can just like start feeling, okay, well now my stomach isn't feeling well, or now my head hurts, or now my body hurts. And now you'll start noticing different things that your body was not able to show you, because it was just focusing on getting the toxins and protecting you from all the toxicity.
My body, I'll tell you, when I had implants, my body was sucking up my minerals and my vitamins. Anything I would take, even if it was a supplement, it would suck it up and suck it dry. And I wouldn't have, my minerals and vitamins were so depleted. The moment that the implants came out, like I was able to get off tons of supplements that my body wasn't getting even through food and stuff, because it was sucking it all. And so the fact is that the silicone pieces that are on the outside of the shell, even if they are saline filled, it's still melting at 100 degrees almost in your body.
I know they're supposed to go in the refrigerator when they come out of your body, but they're in your body at 100 degrees, right?
So they're melting, and we don't realize to the cellular level. So it's a fact that it is in the gut. It is in the organs. It is those places, and it's got to be detoxed out. And the only way we're going to do that is by following a regimen that works for us. And we each have to find a regimen that works for us and for our personal gut. Because everybody's like, got different situations going on with their guts. And so you have to follow what works best for you, what diet works best for you. And that's the best route I mean, I could recommend, but I know the gut is crucial for your healing, and it's very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So get to know your body, get to know your gut. You might need a probiotic. You might need whatever it is that you need. I'm looking at a question from Barbara, Cassie, or maybe it's a statement. She said she did a hairs test and it was a waste of her money. She goes, it didn't even bring up what she was sensitive to. So in a situation like that, like I had my hair analysis, but I don't remember the person who did the reading of it didn't give me a conclusion and how to read this. It was just saying that I had a lot of sodium, or I had a lot of this, a lot of that. So what do you do with that information once you receive it?
So that's why I said, like I said, I don't promote, I don't work for anybody, as we don't promote anybody that this is all stuff that we just has worked for us and for others. But where the website I sent you to, Stop the Thyroid Madness, they have some of the top people that do this in the world that are on their list, and that comes with a behind it explaining every single one of the metals and where it comes from, and so it shows you where it's from and why it be off. So it's important that you go to a good lab with it. If you don't go to a good lab with the hair testing, then it is a waste of money and it's a waste of time. Because I felt the same way initially when I first did it, until I started to study it a little bit deeper, and then I realized this is actually the best method, because when I did a blood testing, my stuff was normal showing, and it was totally not normal. I'm still not normal with my metals, and I'm still detoxing, and I'm about to start a whole detoxing with IVs here shortly. So I'm still not detoxed out from heavy metals after 20 years of implants.
Well, I had mine for 23 years too. So, it's a process, so we need to trust the process. There are different things that you might have. You had mentioned the Epstein-Barr syndrome or mono, or a lot of people who have cancer have found a link between Epstein-Barr virus and cancer. And what happens to the Epstein-Barr, the body is a natural machine. It's a natural healing machine. And so if it finds this is a cancer cell, it'll gobble it up and takes care of it. But what happens is, and of course, so that
cells that actually go and attack that, your natural killer cells.
Correct.
NK cells go and attack that stuff.
Correct. And so what happens is when you have the virus, the Epstein-Barr virus, that virus acts like a cloak. It just covers it so that the body doesn't even know that the cancer cell is there. And that's why these things happen. So it's really important that for those of you who suspect that you have cancer, or that you've been told you have a cancer diagnosis, unless you healed or work on eliminating the stressful virus, reduce it, then your body won't be open to any treatment, no matter what you decide.
And I want to tell you, I've been seeing one of the top immunologists in the entire world, and they're not even accepting patients. She's amazing, and she put me on 6 months of a Famiclover, 1 in the morning and 1 at night. It's an antibiotic, and it's for the EBV, for reactivated EBV. What they've found, because I've studied EBV like for hundreds of hours, and so I found that every single leukemia cell they found has EBV inside of it. And so this is something a lot of people don't know, is that EBV is very much attached and a cancer causer. And so we must also, make sure that we keep this under control, but we have to get checked for EBV and reactivated EBV. And it's very common with breast implants that we get reactivated EBV. The signs that you have reactivated EBV is a low-grade fever, headaches, fatigue. I would suggest you Google EBV and symptoms and see if you have any symptoms, and then go to your doctor, have them do a testing on EBV. And if they, this is what I know, the immunologist she specializes in EBV specifically, Fami Clover is what she recommended from a script. 6 months. I've already been on it for over 4, and my EBV is down half of where it was at already. So
That's
it is
great.
working.
That's good. That's good.
Like it comes and goes different days. It's a low grade fever, but it comes and goes different days. So it's not chronic now all the time.
Yeah. And again, somebody else's symptom might be a little bit different too. So just if that is something that you can test for, and if that's something that you have, it's time to take care of that too. We're just going through the different levels of different things that it could be. So go to an infectious disease doctor, an endocrinologist, an immunologist, whatever it is, just start chipping away. We talked, and interestingly enough, both Cassie and I have lots of parallels. One of them is Dr. Richard Horowitz. And Dr. Richard Horowitz is a Lyme expert, and he's a regular in the classroom. And Cassie found out about her breast implant illness through Dr. Richard Horowitz, who they were at an event. And so he has a 16-step system where you can just start chipping away. The book is called Why Can't I Get Better? And how do I get better? I think that the first one is why can't I get better?
Yeah.
One of them is why can't I get better? And the second one is how do I get better? And it allows you to do this checking protocol, what tests to do, and so on. So we talked earlier about hormonal imbalances and there's progesterone, estrogen, estradiol, testosterone. Just make sure you go to a doctor that is monitoring that, making sure that everything is in balance, right, Cassie?
Yes, absolutely. You need to make sure that when doctors are running your test, that you are a part of your testing, and that you actually go in there, put it in your phone notes, put it on a piece of paper, but go in there and go in with your preparation, that you know what you're talking about when you come into your doctor ahead of time. So you don't go in there and let the doctor just throw out a metabolic and a lipid and a comprehensive panel. You have extra things that need to be added onto that. And so you need to make sure that you're testing properly for those tests that need to be added onto that. So make sure you do your homework on the labs that you need. And me and Lillian are here to help you guys with what testings that you can recommend that your doctor, and work with your doctor and partner with them and help you to come to the bottom of the resolution of what's causing your symptoms, to get rid of them. I would even say this is that with an IUD, it's also made of silicone. And so if you have an IUD, that's another thing that you might want to look at if you're having symptoms and some problems. And so if you don't have implants. And so it's really important, I think, that women, just look at their overall, what has changed? What have I taken? I noticed I just took a bunch of supplements one day. I had a date night with my husband. Within an hour, I was in urgent care, and I didn't realize I was taking supplements, and one of the supplements had been contaminated with bacteria, and it sent me to the urgent care, and I was in urgent care and on an antibiotic for 3 weeks because of the bacteria. So, I mean, it's really important that we know where our stuff comes from.
Yep.
And it's very important that we also focus on what we take, and is it really important that we're taking this and not getting it from food? Mm-hmm. Because food has every vitamin that you need in it if you eat the right ones.
Yes, yes. And even if you're eating the right ones, maybe some people need a little bit more because of processing, the way it processes through the body, metabolizes through the body. So just take the time to fall in love with your body and know your body. So one of the things I just started doing is exercise. And I joined a new gym, and in that gym, I am actually sweating. I am actually doing stuff that's, and when you perspire, that's a form of detoxification. You pee, you poop, you perspire, the 3 Ps, and those are different ways of getting the toxicity out of your body. But also there's sauna, and there is Epsom salt baths, there are, ozone therapy, low levels therapy, so many different things. And depending on what it is, what it is that you're experiencing, those are different ways to kind of get that lymphatic system clean.
That's right. And massaging is very important for the lymphatic system. So massages, I mean, if you can, a lot of people, who can't afford it, you can find just like one of the local walk-in places. You know, they're not quite as expensive, but if you can find somebody who does it at a good, reasonable rate, I would say massages are a great way to start draining and working out the lymphatic system really well, and then going into like an infrared sauna afterwards. Or if you go into, you know, a hot shower or a hot bath with Epsom salt, like she said, it's very important that we do these things on a daily basis.
Yes,
I mean, not
absolutely.
massaging, you can do that weekly, but the, you know, showering and bath and stuff on a weekly basis.
Now, before we go any further, because we know we're probably gonna go a little bit over after the podcast, because you know we have our teachers' pets that want to learn more and grow with us together, and I do want to talk about fluffing, and I want to talk about all that stuff. But earlier, Cassie, you talked about partnering with your doctor.
Yes.
Partnering with someone who is like-minded. And if you get anything from the classroom, it's look at your doctor. And if your doctor doesn't fit or look healthy, doesn't fit that healthy mold, it's time to fire your doctor and find a doctor that is like-minded. The same thing happens with the Lillian McDermott radio show classroom. This classroom could be very, very, very big and well-to-do if I were to have different kinds of sponsors that weren't like-minded. But because I'm very selective about that, I need for those of you who are part of the classroom to share and like and become part of whenyouneedafriend.com. So I want to ask you to subscribe to whenyouneedafriend.com. And while you're there, like and follow, share with all the social medias, also my YouTube channel, which, you know, I don't know how it's growing, but it seems to be growing. And so I want to thank you for that part of, you know, because I really, it's getting the information out there, and you can help me spread it even further by sharing the information. That's how you get to be a better teacher's pet. And so I want to thank my sponsors who have taken a stand, who said, you know, we're like-minded. Sponsors like Liberty Health Share, they come on twice a month to talk about what they're doing. And you know, Cassie has heard all the stories about Liberty Health Share while I was going with my breast implant illness. And so that was something, or explantation, that was something that I was very positive about with Liberty Health Share. And there's also Keep Me Safe Organics. You know, talk about toxicity. Many of us don't even know that we get these toxins from our beauty products. So this is one of the sheets that you get when you purchase with Keep Me Safe Organics. And these are like, if you hit the button for the sponsors and you click on Keep Me Safe Organics, you get 10% off your entire purchase if you enter Lily 10. And so these are beauty products, cleansing products, things that you put on your skin. Make sure that there is no chemicals, that it's synthetic free, that it's organic, and that's what you'll find with Keep Me Safe Organics. And their makeup is awesome, and it lasts all day long, and it doesn't rub off on people. You know, it's so embarrassing when have you ever hugged somebody, Cassie, and it's like your makeup, well, it doesn't happen.
But you know, I mean, honestly, like I use minerals for makeup.
This is very similar to that, and it doesn't rub off. And then we have First Alternative Care for the entire household. You get non-urgent family practice, dermatology, and 3 hours a year of behavioral health counseling for the entire household for $45. And let me tell you, before Cassie and I got on the air, I have a bite from this morning. It's nobody bit me other than, I think, a spider. Cassie was freaking out, and I called First Alternative Care. And I mean, I could have gone to the emergency room, or I could have gone and spent a copay or whatever, but it's nice for your entire household for $45. So you could call 24/7 at any time for a non-urgent issue. And so I've got my papers for what to do.
Urgent.
Yes.
She wasn't stopping the show, guys. Yes. She was doing the show, so she really.
I got I got bit in the buttocks, me and Forrest Gump. And so Dr. Stephen Grable, he's Complimentary Care Center in Jacksonville, Florida, worth the drive. He's another one that I sent my picture to, and he went, ouch. And the pharmacy in Merritt Island, compounding, we talked about compounding, and Live Longer Medical, helping our bodies from the inside out heal. So please support our sponsors the way they're supporting the classroom. Also, you can be a part of the class. You can be the teacher's pet or the enrolled student, and please donate whatever you like. You can donate every month, or you can donate one time, but help the classroom grow. Now today we're talking with Cassie Carter, and she is one of my earth angels that I met during my journey with breast implant illness and explantation surgery, which started from a car accident. You know, it pushed the implant down 2 inches, and that started the whole process of all the genie was let out. The genie was let out. But we're going to continue more little hacks and more things to learn during our conversation off and after the podcast. If you want to join us, you can join us at facebook.com/Lillian's Radio Show. Cassie Carter, it's always a delight to see you and have a conversation that's truth and honest.
That's all I'm going to give you.
And please remember, all of you, that this is where you go to when you need a friend and when you want to take your health back. This is Lillian McDermott and Cassie Carter wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day ever.
The opinions and advice expressed on the Lillian McDermott Radio Show are intended for the individual callers and guests on the program and are presented to our wider audience solely for general educational purposes. Please act responsibly and consult personally with your own medical, psychological, or nutritional expert before taking any steps to improve your life.
Okay, I just want to say thank you to Brandy for joining us, and Linda. Linda says, finally, someone speaking the truth. Absolutely. That's all we can do, is because at the moment you buy into the hype of take your breast implant out, and by the way, not everyone needs to take their breast implants out. You know, some doctors say everybody does, but if you're not having symptoms, and I didn't think I had symptoms, but when you start looking at the list, boy, there's a lot of symptoms, and it could be, you. It's just a matter of power of information. Right. If you're happy with your implants and there's nothing wrong with them, keep at it, but be aware that at any time things could change for you.
Just watch for the symptoms. If you start to realize, if you Google breast implant illness symptoms, you'll go to images, click on images on, whatever browser you use, and you're going to find a list of symptoms. And when you find that list of symptoms, just start marking off if you're having any of those, and just know that you're already being affected by them if you can mark off symptoms on it. And if you can't mark off symptoms on it, then, you're still in an okay place and your immune system is still okay with it. Yeah. But if you're feeling any of those things, then it's time to start really focusing on finding the proper doctor who is not going to do something that, botching you or anything. You got to find the proper doctor who's educated, who does this all day, every day. And there's many resources, and we can provide those resources for you to get those doctors and the names of the doctors in the whole world to help to get them removed properly.
And to add to what you just said, Cassie, because by the way, Cassie and I did a 2-hour marathon the last time she was in the classroom. We did a explant surgery and post explant surgery. I think it's how to get ready for it and what to expect after. Those are 2 different, you'll find it on YouTube. You'll also find it on Facebook. So this is information. Information is power. Mm-hmm. And you can make with information, you can make an informed choice, as opposed to, I don't believe in this or I don't believe in that. We're not selling Santa Claus to you. We're talking about things that have happened to us and many other women. 40% of women are removing their implants. And when I first got implants, what was that?
33%. So last year, the biggest, so this is what a lot of people don't know, is last year, the biggest cosmetic procedure was 33% of women removing their implants. 33%. That was the biggest jump, and the biggest procedure for cosmetic last year was removal of implants. And that was last year. And now, you know, we have, I think because of the documentary we have coming out, we're somewhere around locating, and I have a girl that I hired, and she's been clocking numbers of people on Instagram and Facebook. We're around the 1 million range of people who know they're sick from implants.
Wow.
So
wow.
we're really getting down to some big numbers here, and they're going to be coming out in the documentary that's coming out, that we're showing you the truth behind all of this as well.
Yes, it's called Busted.
It's called Busted. It's going to be amazing. It's
yes.
really, for 3 years, it's just following and going through for 3 years. And it's, I mean, I'm in it. There's going to be a few other celebrities, but then regular, just everyday people that are in it, that, you know, single mothers and, you know, just everyday people that you see, and scientists and doctors and even government people on higher levels.
Yes.
So it's going to have a mixture of tons of stuff.
Yes.
Even meetings that were held at the FDA, you know, that's also included in there.
Another word, busted and exposed.
Exactly. Busted and exposed.
Well, you know, one of the things I want to share with you, and by the way, thank you so much, Rebecca, for joining us, and all those wonderful people that have sent us some love through the broadcast, and all this information that we want you to learn, so that you can make the right choice. You can go to, I don't want to repeat a lot of the stuff that we talked about before. So that was the last show before, that was August 22nd, before I had my explantation. When I first had implants put in, it was a one and done type of thing. My doctor said, once you get it in, that's it. You don't have to worry about it anymore. Well, that wasn't the case. And then they came out with every 10 years. So, you know, I started thinking, why expose ourselves to this? I can't imagine being in my 70s or 80s and having to deal with another surgery. And so, you know, I made the decision that this is what I wanted to do, based on the information and the research that's out there now. There are many people that don't even know that they could be sick from their implants. And if that's you, there are a couple of websites that I want to recommend that help me make this decision in the middle of the night, crying over like, oh my God, what? This is the end of the world. But no, it's not.
Yeah. You can feel deathly with this. It's really you know, I mean, I deal with women every day who are suicidal, who think they are dying, who don't want to live any longer because of how they feel. And they don't know that once they remove these, that, like, I tested positive for 7 autoimmune diseases, that I'm negative for every one now. And so it's really interesting that, you know, if we can just pull together instead of, you know, like, of course, kicking each other when they're down, but lift each other up and help each other.
Sure.
And just give this information out there freely. We're not here to gain anything. We're here to save lives and to help people get their health back and take their health back, because we have that ability and that right to take it back.
So the two websites are healingbreastimplantillness.com and breastimplantillness.com. Those are two websites that I used to help me make my decision, along with all the little different earth angels that helped along the way. You need to go to a microplastic surgeon.
Yes.
They have to be able to have the detail. You just can't go to any doctor. And what I loved about my doctor, and he's planning on being on the show sometime soon, is that he has chosen never to implant again, ever.
That's right.
And so those are the things that I was saying earlier. If you have a doctor, like today, when I called, and this doctor said to me, you know, because he told me that I needed to take Benadryl, because I don't know what's going on, this bite that I got from the gym. We were outside working out, and when I came in, that's when I noticed that I got bitten in the buttocks. And what happened was that he said, oh, you need to get some Benadryl. And I said, well, vitamin C work? Oh, that stuff is useless. Vitamin C? Oh my
Vitamin-
goodness.
They
It's
push
an antihistamine.
time, yeah.
It's an antihistamine. So you have to, be your own MD.
Yeah.
Be your own medical detective and keep digging. I think that, Cassie, and if for what I want to say to everybody is, this is a scary decision, and
Yes.
it's not a walk in the park. But
Mhm.
once you get to the other side, you will look back and say, I am so glad that I did this for myself. And but be your own medical detective. If you're experiencing symptoms and you really don't know, because you have this mysterious illness that the doctors keep giving you pill after pill after pill after pill,
Or telling you you're crazy,
or
and
telling you're
you're on a
crazy,
psych med, or you need to see a psychologist, it's best
and
to,
you might,
you
and
might,
you might, but at the same time, don't give up hope. There is hope out there, and there are other women who have paid the price so that you have it easier than we have. And what I want is to change the message of, get your breast implants out and you're healed. That is not real.
not real, and it's not realistic, and it has to stop. Even the whole word of breast implant illness has to go away. It needs to be called breast implant syndrome, because it is not an illness that we have. It is it's a bunch of symptoms that are caused by a syndrome. And so it's literally what it's called. And so breast implant illness came from a certain person creating the word, and it's really confusing when some people hear it. They're like, breast implant illness, they're not getting it. And so when you use the word syndrome in a medical field, doctors understand it a little bit more. They listen a little bit more, and they'll understand, look, you're having symptoms from a syndrome caused by these things, these foreign objects inside your body.
Yes.
So it's very important that we go in with knowledge when we go into doctors, and that we come in educated already, because we can't let them just educate us. If we do that, we'll be where I was for 5 years and basically planning my funeral. And I had to go out with Dr. Horowitz's help on a limb, and I had to go out and just say, I pray to God that this works and that this is what is causing it. But when I did my research, and I've done thousands and thousands of hours of research, I did not stop. I am a nerd. I'm a really big nerd, guys. And so I study, and when I study, I remember everything. And so I just obtained the information, and I realized this is when all my symptoms started, even back to the very beginning of when I got them my first set, because I had each set 8 years. So I didn't even reach the 10-year mark with both sets. And I was very, very sick, and, thyroid removal, just everything. Yes. And where she went with the microsurgeon thing, I wanted to add on to that. The reason why it's important that you have a microsurgeon is because mine had bottomed out on the left side. And when it bottomed out on the left side, the scar tissue had grown underneath, and it was touching my heart. It had to be carefully taken off of my heart. And so if you don't have a microsurgeon who can go in there and is well versed on what they do daily on removing these, then they're going on your vital organs, and you can literally not come out of that surgery. And I just recommend that you guys really just take to heart and look for the greatest surgeon that does this all the time. The wait lists are getting really long for the surgeons that do it great. But if you are having any kind of symptoms that are really bad, you can DM me. I have my Instagram is Purstreams, PURSEDREAMZ. You can DM me, and I will work with doctors to get you in as quickly as possible. If I know your symptoms and I know how sick you are, I can work, and also financially where you are. So I can try to help and work with you as much as I possibly can with the doctors to help you get this out as quickly as possible and get you as well as we can.
Yes. Okay, so Wendy, thank you so much for making a comment here. I'm going to get my, because it's hard for me to see. Let me see what she said. She says, there's a great group on Facebook called Breast Implant Illness and Healing by Nicole. So much information on that site. and you can see how many people are really becoming sick from their implants. And so that is something that you have to be very careful with some of these groups as well. I want to make sure that they don't, and I have no idea, I don't belong to that group. I belong to my doctor's group because that was where I was going with. I wanted the support. I wanted to know that my doctor was doing a good job with his patients.
Exactly.
I don't necessarily need it. Well, I'm not saying that that's not a good place to go to. We need to do our own research. But I'm saying is we want to make sure that the information that we're getting is real. Exactly. And so do your own research and create your own plan for yourself.
They're not doctors in those groups. And that's what a lot of people fail to understand when they join those groups, is that there's nobody that are doctors in those groups. And those groups they don't even allow doctors or scientists in them. And so when you go in those groups, it's sometimes a group that, they have information that they get, and it's from patients sometimes, and they just, they make the groups, and they'll grow, over time they'll grow because women are looking for answers. Mm-hmm. But it's best to work with your doctor and go off your symptoms list that are already provided out there. And it's becoming more and more aware. And again, the documentary is coming out with all the information soon for, anybody that's going to need information. And you can even go on, the FDA even did a recall recently on the textured implants for the ALCL. And so it's just important that we don't get tangled into these groups too much, because we are already mentally focusing so much on a sickness and things we're dealing with. To start watching and dealing with other women's is also very hard on us. And we go back to the toxic thing, where it can be really hard on us. And so I did join a group initially, and it was really hard on me as I did it. And so I found myself in a place that I just needed to focus on me and getting well for myself. And that's what I did.
And I want to encourage Wendy that if you want to share this information in that group, please feel free to do so, because we're going to continue doing a series of breast implant illness. And I want to bring the truth out there, because there's a lot of people out there that are, I'm not saying that this is real or not real. We just have to be careful with the information that is out there, because a lot of people are getting people all excited about having their breast implants removed, and perhaps guiding them into the direction that you may be swept away, just like chemotherapy. People get cancer, and next thing you know, you're being swept into chemotherapy, radiation, and that may not be what you need. You may need to change your diet, your nutrition. So before I had my implants removed, I did a lot of things to make sure that wasn't it. For me, what made me feel that this was it was thermography. I had a test done, and my thermogram showed that I had hot spots all over my breasts and in my body. So that showed me a sort of inflammation that I needed to tend to. So do your homework, and the comparison of other women going through this process may or may not be in line with what you're doing and what you need. Right. And so that's always good to take that as, as part of the process, part of the journey. And and trust, research your doctors. When I say trust a good surgeon, and research it. And again, the two websites that I want to share is healingbreastimplantillness.com and and breastimplantillness.com. So with that in mind, Cassie, is there anything you'd like to add before we go?
I just want everybody to know that, everybody's journey is different. And, if you're not healing right away, it's not that you're not going to heal. And so it just means that you may be taking a little longer, and mine has taken longer than, of course I wanted, but she realistically told me 2 years out the door before I even started. And so I'm getting, further along, and I'm getting better as I go along. And so I'm starting to realize that she was a pro. She knew exactly what she was doing. She knew my complications. She knew my symptoms, and she knew right away what I was dealing with. And so she knew my time frame roughly of where I would be. And so I say that, again, where Lillian says, listen to your bodies, work with your doctors. And I have now created a team of doctors for my aftercare that I work with: an immunologist, a rheumatologist, a pharmacist. Like, I'm working with a cardiologist. I have a team of doctors, but my doctors are all in communication with each other, which is very crucial, because if they're not in communication with each other, then wires get crossed and lines. Find a team of doctors that can work together, and they can figure out things together to help you. It worked really wonderful.
Perfect. And so I want to thank all of you for being a part of this broadcast and being a part of the classroom and staying longer. And that means you're the teacher's pet. And so I want to make sure that you share and you like and you follow, help us grow. If you like it, if you're watching later on YouTube, please know that you can always join us live to have a more interactive conversation. So thank you, Wendy and Rebecca, and all of you, Brandy and Barbara and Linda, that showed yourself, Joanna, Maria, oh my gosh, Jenny, all of you, and Robert even, who have been a part of this broadcast, so that we can spread the information. Yes. We don't want to scare you either.
No.
So, you've had the implants. 1 day is not going to hurt you. 6 months will not hurt you. Make the best decision for you.
Right.
Okay? Nothing's different other than your awareness. And so we'll work with that. And so my sister from another mister, Cassie, thank you so much for being a part and for praying over my bite. So
I had to. You need to go to the ER and get that thing looked at immediately.
But the class must go on, and so
had to go on. She was not stopping the class, guys. She refused, and I was like, Lillian, you've got to go. But
okay, I'll keep you updated on my little bug bite and what's going on there. I feel like something is spreading on my chin now.
No, it's going to stay in the buttocks area. Everything tends to always love our butts and our boobs.
Too much information here. Okay, guys, we'll see you soon. I hope that you will use some of this information for yourself and create what is best for you. Yes. Don't let anyone tell you one size fits all. It does not. It does not. Not even your fingers are the same size. No. Not even your eyes, not even one side or the other. So we're even within ourselves, we're uniquely created. So do your own homework. And if you need us, you have Cassie is at Purse Dreams on Instagram. And do you have a Facebook?
I just opened a Facebook right now. I just opened a Facebook again. Like, I had to shut it down for a while because I had to really focus on my health and just, coming back to that place to focus on me, to take care of me. So I did, and it's Cassie Carter is my handle. You'll see a picture of me on there, and it's just Cassie Carter. Following Lillian McDermott. So if you find, I'm following her show, and so you can find me that way. If you type in, I'm sure there's a million Cassie Carters, but you can definitely follow me from her show. I'll be the only Cassie Carter, I'm sure, following her show.
Yeah. And when I said to you, welcome back, Carter, did you not see that show?
I've never
seen it. I want to hear from all of you. How many of you remember Welcome Back, Carter with Horseshack and Vinnie Barbarino? Am I going insane here? So that's why I said Welcome Back, Carter.
Coach Carter, the movie, and my husband is a coach, and so he really is Coach Carter. So it's really funny.
Well, check out Welcome Back, Carter. It was a sitcom in the 70s.
I got it written down already.
Probably weren't even born then.
I was born in the 70s.
Were you?
Yes.
Okay. Well, for those of you got a little bit of our back talk, and you also get I'll let you know tomorrow, and maybe even post my bite on my Facebook page.
I hope it doesn't get any worse before then.
Joanna remembers Welcome Back, Carter. Thank you, Joanna. I'm not going crazy. That was John Travolta start, right?
Mother probably knows. Mom, do you know Welcome Back, Carter? Yes. My mother knows.
There you go. You tell your mom she's beautiful and smart. Okay, so and she should come by and say the what?
You said in 71 is when it was.
71. There we go. Okay. So we're gonna go because I gotta check out my bite. Gotta check out my butt. So we'll see you guys soon.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for watching, and make sure you like us, share, and help us grow.
Yes.